All right. Welcome back to the Surfside Recovery Podcast. And if you or someone you know is looking for help or having trouble, give this man with the red beard a call. Not to be confused with Santa Claus. It's Mr. Koch.
Young Santa Claus.
My
dad actually looks like Santa Claus.
You know what? He does. Has he ever played him in the mall or anything like that?
No, but he always did, which is not even close to Santa Claus, for church. They always did a play called The 12th Night.
Okay.
Jesus play. And my dad was always the star. So literally he was the star. He was actually a star.
So
he had to wear like a harness and he would hold this like big star. Like basically he would hold like a stick.
He's a pretty big guy if I remember right,
yeah.
right? Tall?
Yeah, 6 foot, 200 pounds, strong. So he would always hold this big star. So for years we would always say my dad was always the star of the play.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
You got me on it.
Yeah.
I had one of my best friends, his father has played Santa Claus on a number of different occasions.
My dad would be a good Santa Claus.
Big beard. This guy was too, Mr. Baldwin. Great guy. And Kim Smith, thanks for the shirt. Bought it for me about a year ago. You're probably going to give it about a 6 or a 7. It's a fun shirt.
It's a great shirt.
Great shirt.
The shirts aren't bad. The shirts are not
Hawaiian
bad shirts.
You take the term Hawaiian too literally.
I mean, if it was a summer shirt, that would have been different. But I believe the episode was a Hawaiian whatever, 6 episodes ago or whatever it was. You said, I am going to wear a fun Hawaiian shirt.
I think I said Hawaiian summery type shirt. Whatever. It's dumb. Anyway, so this episode, I think we wanted to dip into a little bit about social media. Is that correct? He's tweeting right now, if you can't tell.
No, I'm looking up Hawaiian shirts.
What do you want to have to say about social media?
So when you Google Hawaiian shirts, that's the first thing you get.
I can't see it.
Well, I'm holding it still, so maybe it focuses appropriately.
Yeah, beautiful. Oh yeah, very fun. Very fun. There are 2 residents right now who I'm not going to name, obviously, for obvious reasons, but they have great short sleeve summertime shirts. Fantastic, both of them. I'll tell you after we're done the podcast.
What phase are they in? I think I know who you're talking about.
I don't know, one or two.
There's one's
they both
in phase 1.
Kill it. You were actually just on the phone with one of them.
Yeah,
earlier.
that's the one I was.
And then there's another one who's fantastic.
His Hawaiian shirts and his mustache.
Yeah, they're good.
He's a good kid.
So right before we started, you said you wanted to talk a little bit about the old.
He was like our typical resident who's like, tell me about that Surfside program, and like got some information and was like, oh no, I'm gonna go do this my way.
No, we're thinking about somebody else.
Oh no, we're thinking about the same person. And then he never came to us, and then he went and he did it his way, and that lasted for like a month, and then went back to treatment and was like,
no, the kid I'm thinking about, I think, is his first time.
First time with us?
No, first time.
Oh no, we're the one I just talked to on the phone an hour ago.
No, not him. Somebody else.
Did I talk to on the phone?
No. You're right about the one you talked to on the phone.
Got it.
I'm
You're
also
thinking about somebody else.
Yes.
Got it.
Yes, I am.
So what's next?
You said social media.
Oh yeah. What about it?
I don't know. You're the one
who
brought it up.
What do you think of social media?
I like it. I like it. I think I'm not the type of person who gets stuck on it for days. Part of it is also my job to be on it for us. So in my off time, I don't really use it, like personally. My personal Facebook and Instagram, I don't do much on because I'm on it so much for us. So that really kind of has taken place for that. I think social media is great. I think it's a great way to find out information. I think just like any other media source, there's a lot of bullshit going on. I also know, so the age group that I'm in,
How old are you?
28. So I was born in 91. So I remember having dial-up internet. I remember before Wi-Fi was a thing. But there's people who are about probably 2 or 3 years younger than me who have always had the internet. Like, don't remember a time without the internet. So when I was growing up, I was right on that border age of when, like, before the technology boom really came into full swing.
You always had dial-up internet.
No, I remember getting it in my parents' house. I mean, it was a thing, but I remember my dad going out and buying the first computer that we had. And that was probably like 97 or something like that. So when we first had it, we didn't have internet
So you were
on
just
it.
a little guy.
Yeah, I was young, but like I remember it all kind of coming through. Like the first computers we had in my school were like Macs from like the late 80s or early 90s, with the green and black computer screen. So, but I noticed a real difference among the people who are just a couple years younger than me with how attached they are to their technology. And I'm a big tech guy. Like, I love having a new phone. I like new computers. I like all that sort of stuff. So I definitely think there's a big place for it. But I do see people get too sucked in. I know when I'm going to tell I think it's a funny story, but it's kind of a shitty situation.
Go ahead.
So when I was living in North Carolina, I went out with this girl twice. First time I went out, had a couple of drinks, sat at the bar, good time. Next time I went out with her, we're sitting at the table, we're getting dinner, and I had to say to her, I said, hey, like, can you like not like be on your phone while we're out to eat, And mind you, I'm like in the grip of an addiction too. But I was like bothered that she was just like playing on her phone. There was literally no conversation going back and forth between us. So I said something to her, again. Then like by this time the food had gotten there, and then she's like still just like back on it, just like sucked into whatever she's doing. So I finished my meal.
What was she doing?
No idea. Texting people, maybe on Facebook or Instagram. To be honest, I don't remember. But she was on it literally the whole time. So I ate my food and got up and left.
Did you make amends for her?
No. To be honest, I don't even remember what her name was. This is like 5 or 6 years ago. I went out with the girl twice. I just remember doing it.
You can still make amends for that.
How? I don't even know what her name is.
There's a way to do it.
Okay.
Maybe not directly to her. Maybe it is more of an indirect.
Well, I've never walked out on a restaurant with my girlfriend now, so that's good, right?
I should walk out when we take the staff out to dinner.
Right after. Oh, so so when's this podcast going to come out?
We'll have gone out to dinner.
We'll have gone out to dinner because that's Monday, right? Ian is taking all of us out to a very nice dinner, and we're extremely excited about it. Are you wearing a suit?
No, but...
Jacket?
I don't know if I'm going to wear a jacket, but I'll have dress pants on and a dress shirt.
Yeah, me too. I'm very excited.
Yeah, it's nice. It's a nice restaurant.
Mm-hmm. Best one in the city, probably.
I would think.
Yeah, probably best one in the city.
There's that one that you got to like know people to get into. But
Chefola?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I haven't been there. My parents have been a few times, though.
Really?
Yeah, it's a little too expensive for my taste.
Yeah, that's like $120 a person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, big time.
I mean, this is going to be expensive,
yeah,
but everyone deserves it. Everyone works really hard, so I think. And quite honestly, we've never been in a position where we even could do that.
Right.
So super cool that two of our alumni something like that. Super cool that two of our alumni are going to hang out with the phase 1 and phase 2 guys and do a meeting with them and everything. And
is that what they're doing? They're going to do a house meeting?
Yeah. Ryan and Matt are going to do dinner and then a meeting. So gives us like an hour and a half, 2 hours. So
yeah, we'll have a good time.
That'll be cool.
All right, we got off track.
So yeah, I think social media is...
Watch the mic.
I think social media can be super positive, but I think it also can be very dangerous. Like personally, I removed Facebook from my phone, and I look at Facebook almost never. There's like, especially in the addiction world, there's like such BS. Like, it's like a thing where these marketers who market different addiction treatment centers like are getting together all the time and like posting pictures of each other and oh, we're out to lunch with this great team and like all this nonsense. But then like behind closed doors, they like don't like each other. They talk shit about each other. You know, it's like this massive front. There was a girl, she actually got sentenced to like a serious jail time. To make a long story short, when she was using a girl overdosed, she left the girl in the bathroom, never called the police, was charged with...
Girl passed away?
Yeah, was like charged with murder or something.
Uh-huh.
She was on house arrest, but got a job as a marketer and was like posting pictures of her like out at like pool parties and like... And the judge like saw the pictures and was like, you're not the remotest bit remorseful. Like, you're beat. And
That's what happened to Meek Mill, too.
Yeah.
Not a similar situation, but he got caught up because he was doing like music tours and stuff like that.
Yeah.
He wasn't supposed to leave the state.
Yeah. And, you know, and I think it's just like super sad. Like, you know, there's also some people in the addiction space, again, some marketers, and I point marketers out because they're like the representation of the organization.
Well, it's the people you see. Yeah.
Well, they're the face, right?
Yeah,
They're the
right.
face of the organization. So their behavior, I think, really represents like that agency. And I think, you know, people with a slight bit of intelligence can look beyond some of that and can see the truth of what's going on. Like, you know, there's some women that are out there that are like literally like altering their pictures, like their bodies, like they're literally putting their bodies through filters to make themselves look skinnier, give themselves facelifts and things like that. And
Dog
it's
ears?
No, this is like, I wish it was as simple as like dog ears, or like kitten whiskers or something. But no, I think it, you know, like I think it's super, super sad. Like,
I just pictured you with little whiskers.
me with like kitten whiskers. You know, and I think some of these guys, like, you know, we see it a lot at Surfside. Like, these guys get their phones back, and you know, people have become accustomed to posting things that make their lives look fantastic. And at the end of the day, they could be dying on the inside.
Yeah, I think it also kind of brings up the issue of people who, you know, I've seen it 1,000 times, and I even suffered from it at one point. You know, getting newly sober, you know, just coming out of treatment, you know, you get your phone back after the first 30 days or whatever, and now you're looking through like Snapchat and you're seeing all your friends that you used to party with in college out having a good time, and it creates that like fear of missing out, and that can just, you know, obviously that alone isn't going to take somebody else out, but that added on top of other compounding factors.
Yeah, it becomes a problem.
Huge
because
problem.
You're sitting at home or in your sober house, and you know, you don't necessarily have a bad life, but like, let's face it, you know, going to a meeting on a Friday night and
going out dancing
and you know, a movie and hitting a movie are very different than like, you know, going to the club and staying out all hours and you know, like, you know, so I think there's this level of like, you know, and I think a lot about intention, and I've mentioned it before, like your intention has to be different, you know, and to work through some of this stuff. Like I just find it super disturbing that some of these folks are like, they're portraying stuff that they're not, you know, and some facilities are portraying things that they're not. And what's even worse is that people believe the nonsense.
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty big just issue about the human race in general. You know, a lot of, you know, I don't even want to call it like self-esteem issues, but everyone always tries to, and I'm saying this really broadly, but you can tell a lot of people try to put on a show, and these social media platforms are absolutely perfect for that to happen. You know, because up until, I don't even know when Facebook really came out, probably like 2006, 2005, 2006, something around that time, maybe 04, 05, 06. It wasn't anything like it is today. You know, there are even talks about like the government, you know, shutting down Facebook because it has so much power to influence. You know, one of the guys who started it, and I can't remember his name, he was a partner of Zuckerberg, and they built it together, and he's calling for it to get shut down. I've even heard
That's crazy. That would be sick if it got shut down.
Well, it'd be bad for
It'd be bad for a lot, but
Yeah.
I think, but it's almost as if like sometimes like we need a restart.
Yeah. And it's like, I saw something, I think it was on a podcast I was listening to, but okay, so let's just take this example, right? So say you are, with an abortion issue, and we're not taking any stance here or anything like that, but say you are pro-choice, right? You're pro-choice or whatever, that Facebook will automatically, like through some sort of algorithm or something like that, say you're pro-choice, feed you with pro-life stuff on your wall, so you start engaging more, and then it creates more of a buzz and more of a buzz. So that's like what this guy was saying about that. Like that's a problem, because then you're just feeding people stuff to kind of like incite. Exactly. Which is crazy. I mean, there's no, all this stuff has never happened before. All this data collection, all this sort of stuff, it's absolutely never been in existence before. Is it falling over on you?
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, it's never happened before. So it's like, we don't really know what's going to go on or what the outcome is going to be. But, I agree with you. There's definitely some issues of people, like posting pictures of themselves just to say, hey, look how I'm doing, sort of thing like that. I don't know. It's crazy.
And I think it's dangerous because we believe, especially as folks in recovery, tend to judge their insides based on other people's outsides. Mm-hmm. Right? So, if you are dating a pretty girl and driving a nice car, like I assume that you're happy. Mm-hmm. And, or if you make X amount of dollars, I assume that you're happy. And social media is a way for people to be fake and know and know, right? And present this, like our literature talks about, page 73 in the big book has a very quick paragraph, and it talks about basically this like stage character, when we present this show to the people who we, we want people to believe that we're like a certain way. Mm-hmm. And, I think like I have a reputation in the addiction space for sometimes being like really kind of tough to deal with. Mm-hmm. And I think that is because like I have no interest. What was that?
On your phone, maybe?
I have no interest in dealing with people that are fake or are not real, or, portray things they're not, or even like try to sell things that they don't necessarily have. Mm-hmm. And it's almost like I just don't care. Like I've said it a couple times, like, if Surfside had to shut down because we were doing the right thing, but nobody referred to us, then like, so be it.
Right.
And it is what it is.
There's definitely something to be said for standing up what you believe in like that, not playing ball like that.
And it's tough because, like you see all these folks, and I get it because, like I'm consistently caught in the like, do I go play nice and play that game of, oh, we're all best friends and we love each other, and or do I stick with what I know in my heart to be right? Mm-hmm. And so to bring that back to like folks who are getting sober and early in recovery, like, seeing these things. I mean, I literally know a couple that they were married for 2 years, and the woman basically said to the man, like, our friends are all much happier than we are. And he was like, what's your rationing for that? And she's like, well, look at their social media, look at their Instagram pages.
Okay.
And his point was like, how do you know? Why is the heater on? And the air conditioning. Sorry, I
don't know. Not my house.
That's bizarre. That makes sense. This morning, I thought I smelled something burning, and I didn't know what it was. And I like checked the attic. I checked like everything, and I couldn't figure it out.
The heat's kicking on?
It must have been the heat. Must have kicked on because the thermostat is probably set for something, and the air conditioning has dropped it colder than that.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, I turned my
I never turn the thermostat off, so I should do that. Anyway, sorry. So like folks in early recovery, like, you know, trying to figure out like who they are as a person, yet being stuck with like all this influence that isn't even necessarily influence. Like it's not even necessarily real influence.
Yeah, it influences whether or not it's true or not. It definitely has an effect on everybody.
Yeah, and I think that's the problem is when someone's trying to navigate, you know, because parents will often ask like, oh, well, you know, should we give him his phone or should we take the phone, or well, what about social media? And the reality of it is like people are going to access it whether they like it or not. But, you know, I think between strong sponsorship and, you know, solid step work and potentially therapy, like really trying to come up with who you are as a person versus who you think you want people to think you are.
I even went as far as not listening for the first 6 months the same music that I listened to before getting sober. You know,
I actually did the same thing.
Yeah, I had to. You know, it was just like because it would, you know,
it had to be different.
Yeah, it had to be different, and it would remind me of just
that
stuff that I used to live. Yeah,
and,
man. I had to just like cut it out, and I listened to some of it now again, but at first I was like, you know what? It's just like isn't. And another thing too is, I remember guys when I was living in the house who'd watch those like Drugs Inc. documentaries and stuff like that, and I'm like, dude, like why are you even doing that to yourself? Yeah. I'm watching The Sopranos right now, and one of the characters gets addicted to heroin in the show, and every time it comes on, I just fast forward. Like I'm not trying to see some kid shoot up, you know. It's like even if it's fake, like I don't need to see that. There's just no reason for it. You know, it's just going to bring something up in my mind and play through it.
That goes back to your intention, right? Like, how bad do you want to be different?
Yeah,
like, are you really sick and tired of being sick and tired? Mm-hmm. And if you are, that stuff becomes not attractive.
Right.
If you're really just trying to get the world off your back, that stuff is still attractive. Mm-hmm. And
it had been at certain points in my life. It had been like
prior,
that.
Yeah. And so I think when we look at social media, like we have to really get clear of like, you know, what do we want for ourselves? Like, are we going to use these things? Like I look at Instagram all the time. I love Instagram. I look at pictures of vans, Volkswagen vans. I look at pictures of French bulldogs. I look at like snowboarding and skateboarding videos.
You snowboard?
I did for 20 years.
Oh, we should hit that up this winter.
Probably not.
Why not?
I just don't do it anymore. I surf and kite surf. But you know, I like that's what I look like. I don't even follow like people, like friends or old friends and things, because the truth is like I don't care. Like I don't want what they have. I'm not willing to do what they do. I just don't care, you know, and it took a really long time for me to get to that place where like, you know, because I think deep down inside is like, you know, like most people, like I have this deep fear of not being good enough. Mm-hmm. You know, like Miranda knows, some of the staff knows, like I take it very personally when somebody relapses, you know, after being at Surfside or something. Like I consistently look at myself as like, well, what did I do wrong? Like, how did I influence that?
Right.
And the reality of it is that's not me. So, you know, I've had to really put myself in positions to not look at all these other characters and judge what I'm doing, you know, based on what all these other people may or may not be doing, you know, because you never know. That's the truth, is you really just don't ever know.
Yeah. I think you summed it up perfectly. I think that was a great assumption. Yeah. I think you got to, I don't know. I really think everything always boils down to like, if you're ready to change, you'll do something different. And if you're not, you won't. And that's pretty much that.
Yeah.
I think I've said it before on here. Like I always have trouble when I have to speak at like a, you know, at a meeting or a rehab. I'm like, I don't know. Unless you're willing to change, you're pretty much beat. And that's pretty much the best advice I have for you. You're either ready to do something different or you're not. There's really no in between. So I think that was good. I mean, you know, we weren't really planning on, I don't even know what we were doing on that one. But I think it came out okay. You let us know, please. If you or somebody you know is struggling, please get
a hold of us.
Yeah, 609-709-4205. Yes. You can also find us on Facebook. You can send Ian an email at structuredsoberliving.com or structuredsoberliving@gmail.com. Or hit us up on Twitter, Instagram, yada, yada, yada. Keep watching and keep the comments and topic suggestions coming.
Thank you.